What's up, everybody? Welcome into a brand new episode of the J Rock Show. JR is no longer a member of this show. You have just me going forward. I am petitioning SimWorld TV to change the name of our show to the JK Show, but they are not picking up my calls, so let's just stay tuned for that. But it's been a crazy week on the SimWorld U front, so let's not waste any time. Ohio State, they came into the week ranked, and they lost 3 in a row. They lost to Kansas, they lost to Virginia, and they lost to Auburn. I'm sorry to you, Coach Drayton. I think we might have spoken a little bit too soon about this Buckeyes team and what they're capable of. Cody Johnson's really good, but Bo Pagnotti's still a work in progress. And Jake Diebler's a first-year head coach. The Big Ten is wide open, but this Ohio State team still has a ways to go in terms of being a legitimate contender in this conference. Iowa's better than them. Michigan, who lost last night, is better than them. Illinois is better than them. There's definitely a good chunk of teams that kind of blow Ohio State out of the water. But the fact that they were ranked to begin with this early into the season with a very new roster for Jake Diebler is very, very encouraging. But are we pressing the panic button in Columbus? I would say no, because you lose on a couple big shots last night to Auburn from Bevinson Patches and Barkley James. Shout out Bevinson, who did get to appear on this show a couple of weeks ago. This is not a bad Auburn team. They've struggled right now, but they're young, and Bruce Pearl's a good coach. So if you're Jake Diebler, you can't really be very upset about losing to an Auburn team that isn't that bad. However, losing the way they did to Kansas, who was struggling going into that matchup, it's far from ideal. Losing to Virginia with a new coach and very little to be excited about outside of Cole Webb and Johnny Baldwin. Cole Webb had a great game against them. Ohio State, they have talent. They're going to be a middle-of-the-pack team in the Big Ten. They scored 14 points in the first half against Auburn. Yeah, you're going to lose. Cody Johnson was your leading scorer with 12 points. Yeah, 1 of 8 from deep. Game you should have lost. But on to our next topic. Down goes number 1 Kentucky last night. In-state rivalry. Louisville beat them at the Rupp Arena. Off night for Jamison Johnson, though. Definitely played a factor. 9.7 rebounds, 3 of 7 from the floor for Jamison Johnson. Didn't get the typical barrage of shots he usually puts up. 2 of 9 from Trey Trust. Adonis Knight and Glory Tate led the way for Kentucky, but were the only Kentucky Wildcats in double figures. Another rough shooting night from Kentucky. 2 of 9 from deep. Less than 40% on the game. But Louisville, Pooh Lewis, 19 points on 25 shots. Isn't pretty, but got the job done. Kadarius Loftus, 4 of 8 from the floor. DeMarco Graham near double-double. 20 combined rebounds from Kalon Jean-Pierre and DeMarco Graham. When you're facing arguably the best big man in SimWorld U, we got to give some credit. Pat Kelsey, this is a good Louisville team. They were number 22 in the country going into the Rupp Arena, and now they won this game. I think they're going to crack the top 15. They're 5-2 now, or they're 4-2 now. Excuse me. And they're better than their record suggests. They lost to Houston, who was ranked at the time. This is a Louisville team that may not be big players in the ACC, but they're a good team. They're not better than Duke. They're not better than Georgia Tech. And I don't know if you'd even call them better than North Carolina. But for Kentucky, they host Texas at the Rupp Arena on Tuesday. The Longhorns have won 5 in a row. Behind the strong play of Vincent Magic, 8 assists against the Trojans on Wednesday night. You got to hear me and Assad Drayton on the call for that one. That was a great time. I got to take him for some Terry Black's barbecue afterward. But Texas is looking like the hottest team in SimWorld U right now. I know Duke and Alabama are getting a lot of the love, but Texas stifled USC all night. Gabe Pope, when I spoke to him, he took responsibility for the loss. I believe the Magic had 13 and 8 assists, 11 for Arthur Lattimore, 11 for Anthony Young, who had a rough day. What Vincent Magic does for this team is he is so much better when he's on the floor. They are so much better when he's on the floor. They play with such a high level of cohesion and urgency when he's on the floor. He's great at finding his teammates, finding those open lanes, helping Anthony Young get those open shots, helping those big men really just dominate the paint like they did against UNC and like they'll need to do against Kentucky on Tuesday. Jamison Johnson coming off that off night, but now he's facing Arthur Lattimore and DeMonte Claudio down low. Yes, I get he's an SWBA prospect in the making, but that's going to be a tough battle for any big man in SimWorld U, let alone the best big man in SimWorld U. LSU wins their third in a row. Akeem Young, true freshman, was phenomenal at the SimWorld prep level, and he's wasted no time to kind of find his footing, make his mark on a Tigers program that is still waiting for Kai Killens in the wings. Kai Killens is still committed to LSU, but he's getting plenty of other offers. Throughout the week, he's gotten offers from, I believe, Duke, Kentucky. Pretty much Kai Killens has his pick of the litter. And Kai Killens, if you're listening to this, this is my public request for you to come onto the show. I want to talk to you about this recruiting cycle. I want to talk to you about LSU. I got plenty I want to ask you about, and I know you and I have spoken plenty, so I'm hoping you'll pick up my calls. But back to LSU, 69-62 victory, 48 points in the second half, trailed at halftime, but Akeem Young, 14 points, 2 blocks, 5 rebounds, 3 players in double figures for LSU. But Minnesota, outside of Donald Ifedi, this team really has nothing to look forward to. And even he shot 8 for 17. LSU is 4-6 now. They've won 3 in a row, but still a ways to go to be legitimate players. In the SEC, we have Duke, we have Kentucky, we have Alabama, we have Arkansas. Yeah, they're not that impressive, to be completely honest. And Indiana takes down St. Mary's on Thursday night. 40 minutes for Mackenzie Mbako. Upset of the Gales. They were ranked. Kai Newby has been very, very productive. So is Dime Hardaway to kick off their collegiate career. And then you have Terrell Coulter. It's a very good St. Mary's team. So Indiana, who was slow to start the season, they were, I believe, 0-3. And Mackenzie Mbako's a star, but they don't really have anything to surround him with. And Mike Woodson is really, really looking at some job security. This is a big win, and that will go very far in potentially saving his job if they can actually rattle off some more victories. So it's a very circumstantial kind of situation. So I have to give credit where it's due. Indiana is kind of trying to remind people that they are players in this Big Ten, because I think people are forgetting because of their slow start that they haven't been playing like it. Moving on, though, tonight we got 4 games going on, but let's talk some headliners. Louisville, Memphis, back-to-back for the Cardinals tonight. They faced a star last night, Jamison Johnson and Glory Tate. Now they got to face another one in Lacedarius Outlaw. Pooh Lewis and Kadarius Loftus combined for 34 points against the Wildcats at the Rupp Arena. But now they're going to have to keep that scoring coming against Kenneth Klum, Lacedarius Outlaw, KB Mack, Deontay Joyce. This is a very good Memphis team that I think people forget is a very good Memphis team. They made light work of North Carolina earlier this week, and they're 8-4. They're 12th in the country. So that's a nice little ranked matchup. Unfortunately, I don't think it's going to be broadcast anywhere. So pull up your crack streams, ladies and gentlemen. UCLA, Missouri later on tonight. Japheth Towns versus Jalen Snow. Plenty of star power in that game. UCLA lost to Duke earlier this week by 14. They're 4-4, 14th in the country, but they've lost 2 in a row. They're kind of hitting a skid, but Missouri struggled too. They don't really have much to be excited about. That is not Japheth Towns, and that's why I'm going to take UCLA in this one. And in that first game, I think I'm going to take Memphis. I just think they're better. If my memory serves me, they are at home, so I'm gonna keep banking on the talent. I like Mick Cronin as a coach. I like LaGerald Carroll. I like this UCLA team that's considered one of the deepest in SimWorld U. So yeah, I'm gonna ride with them. And number 5, Georgia Tech taking the floor tonight against Kansas State. Roscoe Scarlett was expected to be that guy for KSU, and it's certainly been an early season for Roscoe Scarlett. Fact checking what he's done early on this season. K-State has not gotten a lot of media attention. They have not been particularly interesting. They're 5-5. They've won 2 in a row. Roscoe Scarlett's a 12-point per game scorer. Him and George Clark are a decent duo, but this is not a very good team. So give me the Yellow Jackets here. The Yellow Jackets are still one of the hotter teams in all of SimWorld U. They keep escaping. They've won 4 in a row. 7-1. Damon Stoudemire's got it cooking down here. Dante Walker, Adam Mahmoud. This is just a very good Georgia Tech team, and I want to give credit where it's due. But that's all we got for today's episode. Hoping to have some guests on in the next couple of weeks. So if you are interested in that, I will be sending some messages your way. But appreciate you giving this episode a listen. And remember, SimWorld, the only place where you can see the game and be the game.